Coming up on Citrus TV News, big changes from last night's elections, including a new mayor. We'll have full coverage on everything you voted for.
And there's new sanctions on Cuba. Businesses have been blacklisted and there are new travel restrictions. Can you still visit the island? Find out.
Plus, the Citrus TV I-Team takes a closer look at Syracuse schools. Citrus TV News starts right now.
Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Syracuse has a new mayor. Ben Walsh became the first independent mayor of the city in its history. Good evening, I'm Elijah Shama.
And I'm Colleen Callander. Walsh beat Democrat Juanita Perez-Williams by 16 points, a huge win for a candidate who was down by 8 in October. This marks a new era for Syracuse.
Here to tell us about what a Walsh administration could look like is Gabrielle Caracciolo. So, Gabrielle, when we looked at this race, it seemed very close, and the results were very much not. Can you just tell us what happened?
Yeah, so the last poll had Ben Walsh up by about 2%, so I don't think it's surprising that he won, but it is a bit surprising how quickly this race was able to be called last night and the wide margin by which he won. I think what happened is he really just had his momentum going into it. He was able to rein in a lot of the undecided voters, and he also got a lot of votes from people who may have voted for Joe Nicoletti had he been the Democratic candidate, but did not want to vote for Perez-Williams.
Great. And what can we expect from Mayor Walsh? Where's the city going to go from here?
Well, he really has been emphasizing how the best days for the city are ahead. He mentioned the phrase moving the city forward over and over again in his speech last night. And one of the big things that he was saying was what he believes the other candidates have to offer. So we'll have to wait and see if some of those other candidates do take part in his administration. But Mayor Minor this morning also said she called him last night, offered her congratulations on a well-run campaign, and that she is looking forward to working with him to have a smooth transition.
Great. Thanks, Gabrielle. It wasn't just the mayor who was elected last night. The Syracuse Common Council took shape as well. Timothy Rudd and Khaled Bey are both the two at-large seats on the Common Council. LaToya Allen and Joe Driscoll will also join the council, winning the 4th and 5th district seats. Joseph Carney, Chad Ryan, and Susan Boyle all were re-elected as well. And longtime councilor Helen Hudson became the first African-American woman in Syracuse history to be elected Common Council president. And from the city to the state, voters in New York overwhelmingly rejected a constitutional convention. Groups from both sides of the aisle opposed the measure, and 2 million voters followed. In Onondaga County, nearly 80% of the votes cast went to rejecting the proposal. The next chance for a constitutional convention will be in 2037.
The other big proposition here in Syracuse transferred power of the Jamesville Correctional Facility to the county. We have Citrus TV reporter James Groh at the jail now to tell us why the measure passed. James?
Yeah, I'm outside the Jamesville Correctional Facility right now, where yesterday Onondaga County voters decided to hand over control of the Jamesville Correctional Facility over to the Sheriff's Office. Now, Sheriff Gene Conway already oversees the Justice Center, and this is a move that will hopefully make things run a little bit more efficiently under one administration, especially in terms of overcrowding. Now, whenever a prison is overcrowded, Onondaga has to send those prisoners to another facility outside of the county. That costs Onondaga money. Now, this proposition passed relatively easily with about 64% approval. And before yesterday, Onondaga County was the only county in New York State to have a separate Justice Department and correctional facilities system. From the Jamesville Correctional Facility, I'm James Groh, Citrus TV.
Thanks, James. The future of our students is the future of our country. But what happens when that future is unclear? Citrus TV investigative reporter Josh Rosenblatt has more.
Ongoing series looking into the economics of both Onondaga County as well as the city of Syracuse. The Citrus TV I-Team has put together a package looking into the Syracuse City School District. What are some of the problems with the district? And hopefully, how can we solve them?
About the schools is such an emotional issue for people. So
When I woke up this morning, there was frost on the ground and it was very cold.
I know, but it warmed up. The sun came out. Nicole, what's going on?
Well, it was definitely still a chilly day here in Syracuse. It's currently about 46 degrees outside, but tonight those temperatures are going to drop down to be about 29. We should expect some clear skies with some light wind that may make it feel even chillier. But do not get used to these cold temperatures. It's going to get even worse this weekend. I'll tell you more in my full weather forecast.
After the break, we take a look at the big elections across the country, including elected governors in New Jersey and Virginia.
And another scandal in the UK, this time the Secretary of State. Find out why he's being investigated when we come back.
Got a quarter?
Superheroes? Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
You're watching Citrus TV News with Colleen Callander, Elijah Shama, and Nicole Weaving with weather. Citrus TV News continues now.
We have some breaking news. The Justice Department is fighting AT&T in their deal to buy Time Warner. The Department of Justice is trying to force the phone company to sell one of its major companies, either DirecTV or CNN.
They say that if they don't sell one of those, the deal will be illegal. Critics say that the Justice Department is going after CNN, who is a big target for Trump.
The Justice Department have denied trying to force AT&T to make a sale, but sources say that's exactly what's happened.
Elections across the country had some big wins for Democrats.
Virginia Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam defeated Republican Ed Gillespie by 8 points in last night's election, and New Jersey returned to being full blue. Democrat Phil Murphy defeated Kim Guadagno in a landslide.
And across the Hudson, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio won re-election, defeating his Republican opponent by nearly 40 points.
But it wasn't just a big night for Democrats, it was a historic one for minority candidates. Danica Roem became the first openly transgender woman to be elected to a state legislature when she won her seat in Virginia.
And this is Andrea Jenkins, who became the first transgender person of color ever to be elected to public office. She is now on the Minneapolis City Council. Melvin Carter became the first black mayor of St. Paul, and Vi Lyles became the first black female of Charlotte.
Other big firsts were Jenny Durkin, the first lesbian mayor of Seattle, and Ravinder Bhalla, the first Sikh mayor in New Jersey.
Enrollment for healthcare plans under the Affordable Care Act has boomed.
In the weeks since it's been open, enrollment has doubled since last year. More than 1 million people visited the official federal website for healthcare, resulting in an almost 33% in website traffic from last year.
These numbers don't include states who run their own programs, but several state exchange officials say they're seeing an increase in enrollment in numbers this year.
And new numbers released today have hurt the Republican tax reform plan.
The Congressional Budget Office announced the new tax bill would add nearly $2 trillion to the national debt over the course of a decade. The tax bill would also increase the nation's debt-GDP ratio by nearly 6%.
The increased deficit breaks the $1.5 trillion limit and prevents the House from passing it under a simple majority. The new numbers change the GOP's plan to pass the bill by Thanksgiving.
Leaked documents revealed many elite American colleges and universities are using offshore investments to boost the growth of endowments. These investments have allowed colleges to bury earnings overseas and avoid scrutiny on controversial investments.
Colleges have profited by more than $500 billion nationwide. The revelation sparked protests on several campuses.
Moving closer to the United States, on Wednesday, President Trump placed new restrictions on Cuba.
The sanctions were meant to prevent Cuba's military from benefiting from U.S. travelers. This includes limiting exports to banned Cuban entities. The U.S. Treasury stated that the restrictions will still allow Americans to travel to Cuba.
This move is part of Trump's promise to cut down on U.S.-Cuba relations.
A top-ranking British official has resigned after being caught holding secret meetings with the Israeli government. She was caught breaking diplomatic rules during her time as Secretary of International Development.
Prime Minister Theresa May has distanced herself from Patel, but it is not a good sign for her administration. They were dealing with the scandal. Their defense secretary resigned last week after being accused of sexual harassment.
Sri Lankan men seeking asylum in Europe say they were tortured by their country's government. More than 50 men from the Tamil ethnic minority in Sri Lanka described being abducted, raped, branded, and beaten.
The men say they were accused of trying to revive a rebel group on the losing side of the country's years-long civil war. The Sri Lankan government denies any wrongdoing.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Well, it's been a colder day today than we've seen in recent weeks, and it's been a similar story throughout the rest of central New York. It's currently a warmer 48 in Rochester, 45 in Penn Yan, 47 here for us here in Syracuse, and 46 over in Rome. You can expect similar temperatures to today as you will see tomorrow. When you wake up, it will be slightly chillier, about 38 degrees with some partly cloudy skies. No morning rain, so you don't have to worry about an umbrella, but that wind will be at about 10 miles per hour, so it will feel slightly chillier than you would expect. But throughout the day, it is going to warm up. It should be about 47 degrees by noon, but it will be a cloudy day. So the sun that we had today, when maybe you were walking and hit a sunny spot, will not be present tomorrow. Also keep an eye out for some rain moving in around 8 p.m. And because of these cold temperatures that we've seen at night, that could turn into snow. But these high 40-degree temperatures is not going to be the same throughout the rest of the weekend. There's going to be some Arctic air moving in, as well as a cooler jet stream from the south that will hit us right here in Syracuse and drop those temperatures down significantly as we take a look at our 5-day forecast. As I mentioned, a high of 50 tomorrow, but you see that high for Friday, 26. That's going to be a very frigid day with some partly cloudy skies. Throughout the rest of the weekend, it will warm up to about 35 degrees as a high on Saturday. And then on Sunday, it'll be a high of 45, back to the temperatures we're at right now, but some cloudier skies again, so no sun to really warm people up. And then on Monday, we can expect some PM showers with a high of 48.
So can we be expecting any snow over the weekend, you think? Maybe in the morning when it's going to be really cold?
I wouldn't expect over the weekend, but definitely tomorrow night, because there's some rain moving in and these cooler temperatures at night, there's definitely a high chance of snow.
So it kind of seemed like fall came and went. Is winter here to stay, though?
I would say winter is here to stay. Temperatures are going to stay right around this high 40s. As I said, this weekend's going to be really chilly. So if you have a Canada Goose or a parka, definitely might need it on Friday. But then the temperatures should warm up a little bit throughout the weekend and into the rest of next week.
And if we're looking for snow, how long do you think we're going to have to wait?
I think that we shouldn't really see any significant snow, especially accumulating this weekend or even into early next week. But as we leave for winter break, who knows?
All right. Thank you, Nicole. Coming up, seeing double on Twitter. What came from the social media site's newest update?
And David Edelstein tells us saying thank you for your service may not be the right way to thank a veteran. We'll tell you what is when we return.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the Citrus TV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
If you've been on Twitter since last night, you may have noticed some really long tweets. Well, that's because Twitter rolled out a new update that gives all users a 280-character limit.
Twitter says the new limit will allow for easier expression while still maintaining the brevity the app is known for. The longer tweets are now standard in every language Twitter is available in except Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. A new world-class art museum opens in the United Arab Emirates this week. The new Louvre Abu Dhabi has taken 10 years and millions of dollars to finish. The museum will feature over 600 works of art by famous artists.
How did they get the Louvre name? It was a deal between France and the UAE in 2007 that made it possible. This could be the next big place for art fans around the world.
The inventor of the boogie board is riding a wave of support from fans. Tom Morey, creator of the famous wave riding boards, has suffered from vision problems, and the cost of his treatment has left him struggling to pay rent.
Those close to the inventor set up the Friends of Tom Morey campaign online to accept donations. The fundraiser raised over $26,000 as of 4 p.m. today. Veterans Day is this Saturday, and many people will want to thank veterans for their service. Citrus TV reporter David Edelstein is live in studio to tell us how veterans say they want to be thanked.
While many people are taught to shake a veteran's hand and say thank you, that typical gesture might not be the best way to show your appreciation.
The Hall of Languages, lit green to thank veterans.
I personally am very proud of the military, proud of my service, and I appreciate being thanked.
But just saying thank you might not be the way to truly show your gratitude.
If you just come up and say, jam your hand in my face, say thank you for your service and walk away, I'm insulted. I'm literally I'm a status on Facebook that gets liked. That's all I am to you. It means nothing.
I feel disconnected when they say that, because it's like an obligatory thing. Like, they don't know what else to say. It's not a real conversation. It's almost superficial.
Instead, taking a few minutes to talk with the veteran can be more meaningful.
It would be nice to go farther than just thanking and try to initiate a conversation.
You know, more than just the pro forma, thank you for your service.
I'd rather sit down and spend half an hour and tell you about what my life experience has been and hear yours and get to know a person instead of just a face in a crowd.
And doing something to thank veterans can be even more powerful than words.
If there's things that are initiatives for veterans, to vote for them, to advocate for veterans.
Veterans say that coming over and checking in with them and asking just how they're doing expresses that you care for them as well. They also say not to be intimidated, to just say hello. Walk over, say hi, and start a friendly conversation this Saturday or any day of the year.
Well, coming up in sports, the SU football team still just one win away from being bowl eligible. A big day for the Bayheims. And what would a day in sports be without the Ball family? Keep it right here.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was
was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers, but you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Next, I'm No Eagle with sports. After that incredible win over Clemson a few weeks back, things were looking really good for the SU football team. 4-3 on the season, 5 games to win only 1 more and get back to the postseason for the first time since 2013. But since then, 2 straight losses, now a sense of urgency for Dino Babers and company. Only 3 chances left for that elusive 5th win. And according to Coach Babers, this week's matchup, no easy task.
You know, first of all, it's a well-coached football team. You know, Dave Clawson, I followed him into Bowling Green. I saw what he developed. I saw how he built it up from the ground up and turned that team around. He believes in 5th and 4th year guys and not playing people and redshirting them and building up the culture of his football team. And they're very, very well coached. Obviously, they beat us last year, and now they're coming into our place. They're 1 win from a bowl game, and we would like to see if we can get a lot closer to one of those situations. It's going to be a close football game.
SU and Wake Forest go to battle on Saturday at 3 o'clock. Don't forget about Orange Press Pass at 8. We'll break down all the action, including highlights, analysis, and much more. Don't miss it. It's OPP, and it's only on OTN. Now, for many kids, playing for a parent becomes a reality at an early age. For Buddy Boeheim, that became a reality just a few days before his 18th birthday. Buddy officially signed his national letter of intent to play basketball at SU this morning. And alongside Boeheim, 5-star recruit Darius Baisley officially gave the Orange his signature as well. The Ohio native is SU's first ever recruit, ranked top 10 in his class by ESPN. Those two aren't the only recruits signing this week. Point guard Jalen Carey is also signing to the Cuse later in the week. Well, if you can't afford it, you're not a big baller. It's time to tell LiAngelo Ball that. The middle of the 3 Ball brothers and freshman of the UCLA basketball team was arrested for shoplifting during a team trip to China. Now Ball was released on bail earlier today. However, if convicted of the crime, LiAngelo is facing a possible 3 to 10 years in prison. Moving on to the pros, the Knicks and Nets each played last night to different finishes. Brooklyn with a nice win Monday night, beating the Suns 98-92. Could not keep the momentum rolling last night. 112-104, the final score from Denver. Generally tough to win when you allow the other team's best player to go for 41 points, and that's exactly what Nikola Jokic did to Brooklyn. As for the Knicks, Kristaps Porzingis continued his scorching start to this season. 28 points led the Knicks to a comeback win over the Hornets. 118-113, New York ended the game on an 18-4 run to secure the victory and improve to 6-4 on the year. The Knicks play tonight in Orlando at 7. And guys, some sad news yesterday came in the form of Roy Halladay passing away, the former MLB pitcher, MLB great. He actually started here in Syracuse for a while. Just very sad, a plane crash.
Yeah, terrible news. What kind of legacy is this guy leaving behind?
Yeah, it's a big-time legacy. I did my homework right here. We have plenty of stats for you. 8 All-Star games for him throughout his career with the Blue Jays and with the Phillies. 2 Cy Young Awards, 1 in the AL in 2003, 1 in the NL in 2010. He had a perfect game in 2010, not to mention having a no-hitter in the playoffs in the NLDS against the Reds. Only 1 of 2 players to ever do that, which is incredible stuff. He had 67 career complete games, which ranks among the top in the MLB of all time. He won 66% of his starts, which is a staggering number. 19th overall among active or inactive pitchers. That's top 20 forever in baseball. And we know baseball is the national pastime of America. He spent 4 seasons with the Chiefs, as I mentioned. He's going to go down as one of the all-time greats. Just plain and simple. He's a surefire Hall of Famer, and just someone that was so fun to watch because he was so dominant for so long, and really just a terrible, terrible thing to happen to him, only 40 years old.
Truly a terrible loss.
Yeah.
It was so sad to hear, but changing gears a little bit. Friday, SU's first basketball game. What can we expect to see?
Yeah, Cornell coming into the Carrier Dome. One thing we can expect to see is Jim Boeheim's other son, Jimmy, who's a freshman at Cornell, playing there. He didn't really get the call for Syracuse like Buddy did. But it should be fun to watch. It's a brand new team, a lot of fresh faces, and we should see maybe O'Shea Brissett insert himself into the lineup and really show what he can do. He's a freshman this year. I expect him to have a big season. Tyus Battle's back and ready to load it up again and have a big-time season as a sophomore. But a lot of new faces, so we're going to see probably a slow start, as we did in the 2 exhibition games. If Syracuse truly wants to be successful this year, they have to start games faster than they did in those exhibition games, because they went down early, and then they're fighting from a hole, as they did so many times last year. That can't happen if they want to be successful, especially in the ACC this year. So this first game is going to be important to see what kind of foot they get off of in this first game and open the season on a good note, hopefully.
Well, I'll be watching to see how the Orange does against the Ivy.
Me too.
When we come back, the perfect holiday present for food lovers. Stay tuned.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you've got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
And if we take a look at our 5-day forecast once again, tomorrow will be on the warmer side with a high of 50, but then that huge temperature drop comes on Friday with a high of 26, and it'll warm up throughout the rest of the weekend, high of 35, then a high of 45, similar to today. And Monday will bring some PM showers.
All right, thanks, Nicole. So what should we be wearing?
I think it varies from person to person, but definitely because it's going to be in the 50s, I don't think that you need to be wearing your heavy-duty winter coat just yet. I mean, I got away with wearing flip-flops today, but that's just a me thing. So I would say definitely, though, you should consider wearing a sweater because it is still on the chillier side.
Thanks, Nicole.
All right, thank you.
And that's all we have for tonight. For more, check us out online or follow us on Twitter at CitrusTV News. For Citrus TV, I'm Colleen Callander.
And I'm Shama. Have a great night, Syracuse.